For travelers over 60, the security checkpoint is the most stressful part of the entire airport experience. The rushing, the shouting, the agents barking instructions while you're trying to untie your shoes with a line of impatient people behind you. The fear that you're going to set off the alarm because of your knee replacement. And you worry that everybody is going to stare at you while you get patted down in public. The anxiety that you're holding up the line, that you're doing something wrong, that you're going to miss your flight because this process is taking too long. I hear this from viewers constantly. Security is where the stress peaks, where the dignity feels stripped away, where travel stops feeling like an adventure and starts feeling like an ordeal you have to survive. But here's what most travelers over 60 don't know. TSA actually has a completely different set of rules and accommodations, specifically designed for seniors that can make this process 50% faster and significantly less stressful. These aren't favors. These aren't optional courtesies that depend on whether you get a nice agent or not. These are official policies, federal regulations, and legal rights that exist specifically to protect older travelers. But here's the catch. TSA agents are trained to move people through the line as quickly as possible. They're scanning hundreds of passengers an hour. They're looking for threats. They're not thinking about whether the 72-year-old woman in front of them qualifies for modified screening. They forget to offer these options. They don't mention them unless you specifically ask. And if you don't know these rules exist, you're going to go through security the hard way when you could have gone through with your shoes on, with your dignity intact, and with half the stress. Today, I'm giving you the exact phrases to say, the specific rights you have, and the step-by-step protocols that will let you keep your shoes on. Protect your medical devices, request private screening if needed, and avoid the public embarrassment that so many seniors dread. By the end of this video, you're going to know more about senior TSA accommodations than most TSA agents themselves. Let's start with the single most important rule that applies to anyone 75 or older, and it's the one that changes everything about how you experience security. If you are 75 years old or older, you generally do not have to remove your shoes during the screening process. You also do not have to remove a light jacket. This is official TSA policy under what they call modified screening procedures for passengers 75 and up. Now, before you get excited, let me explain why this rule exists, because understanding the why helps you advocate for yourself when an agent forgets. TSA implemented this policy because they recognize that seniors are at a significantly higher risk of falling when they're forced to remove shoes in a crowded, chaotic checkpoint with no place to sit down. Think about it. You're standing on one foot, trying to untie a sneaker while balancing yourself, while people are bumping into you, while an agent is shouting to keep the line moving. That's a fall waiting to happen. For someone with balance issues, arthritis, or recent surgery, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. So TSA created an accommodation. If you're 75 or older, you can keep your shoes on. You walk through the metal detector or the body scanner with your shoes on your feet. Same with a light jacket, like a cardigan or a windbreaker. Not a heavy winter coat, but a light outer layer. You keep it on. This dramatically reduces the physical strain of the screening process and cuts down on the time it takes you to get through. But here's the problem. Most TSA agents don't automatically look at you and think, that person might be 75. They're processing people on autopilot. They're calling out the standard instructions. Shoes off, laptops out, everything in the bin. If you just follow those instructions without speaking up, you're going to take your shoes off, struggle through the process, and never realize you didn't have to. Here's what you do instead. When you get to the checkpoint, before you start taking anything off, you make eye contact with the TSA officer who's managing the line, and you say this exact phrase, "I'm over 75. Would you like me to leave my shoes on?" Notice the phrasing. You're not asking for permission like it's a favor. You're informing them of your age and confirming the procedure. Most agents will immediately say, yes, go ahead, keep them on. Some might ask to see your ID to verify your age, which is fine. Show them your driver's license. They'll nod, and you'll go through with your shoes on. Occasionally, you might get an agent who's new or who wasn't trained properly, and they'll say, no, everyone has to remove shoes. If that happens, you calmly say, I was told that TSA policy allows passengers 75 and older to keep their shoes on. Could you check with a supervisor? That's usually enough. The agent will realize they made a mistake, or they'll call over a supervisor who will confirm the policy. Now, here's an important nuance. Even if you keep your shoes on and you walk through the scanner, if the alarm goes off for any reason, you might still be asked to remove your shoes so they can resolve the alarm. That's fine. That's still better than having to take them off from the start. But here's your backup plan for that situation. If the alarm goes off and they ask you to remove your shoes, you can request a chair. You have the right to sit down to take off your shoes safely rather than balancing on one foot in the middle of the checkpoint. Just say, may I have a chair to remove my shoes? They'll bring one over or direct you to a seating area. This keeps you safe and keeps your dignity intact. One more thing about the 75+ rule. You have to self-advocate. TSA agents are not going to ask your age. They're not going to guess. If you look 75 but you don't say anything, they're going to treat you like any other passenger. You have to speak up. And I know some of you are thinking, I don't want to make a fuss. I don't want to slow down the line. Listen to me. You are not making a fuss. You are following TSA policy. You are using an accommodation that exists specifically for you. The line is not your responsibility. Your safety is. And I'll share something personal here. Traveling used to leave me feeling worn out for days, tired, restless at night, and a little on edge. I started doing one simple thing before trips that's helped me feel more settled and sleep better when I travel. It's nothing complicated, but it's made a difference for me. If you want to look into it, I put it in the first link in the description. Now let's talk about something that causes massive anxiety for seniors, and that's the fear of setting off alarms because of medical implants, hip replacements, knee replacements, pacemakers, defibrillators, metal rods or screws from old surgeries. If you've got any of this hardware in your body, you're probably terrified that you're going to walk through the scanner, it's going to beep, and then you're going to have to explain your entire medical history to a TSA agent while 50 people behind you are listening. Or worse, you're going to get pulled aside for a pat-down in public and everyone's going to stare. Let me give you the tools to handle this with dignity and control. First, TSA offers something called notification cards. These are small cards you can download and print from the TSA website, or you can pull them up on your phone. They say things like, "I have a pacemaker," or "I have a metal implant," or "I am deaf and need written instructions." The point of these cards is that you can hand them to the TSA officer silently before you go through screening, so you don't have to shout about your medical condition in a crowded checkpoint. You just walk up, hand them the card, and they read it. It's discreet, it's dignified, and it gives the officer the information they need to screen you properly. If you have a pacemaker, a defibrillator, or any implanted medical device, I strongly recommend downloading these cards before your trip. Keep one in your wallet. Keep a copy on your phone. You'll feel so much more in control knowing you have a way to communicate without broadcasting your personal health information. Second, and this is huge, if you have a pacemaker or if you're uncomfortable with the body scanner for any reason, you have the absolute right to opt out and request a manual pat-down instead. The body scanners that look like big booths where you stand with your arms up, those are generally safe for most pacemakers. The technology has improved significantly, but some people still feel uncomfortable, or their doctor has advised them to avoid it, or they just prefer not to use it. That's fine. You don't need to explain why. You don't need a doctor's note. You just walk up to the TSA officer before you enter the scanner and you say, "I'd like to opt out of the body scanner and request a manual screening." They'll call over another officer and you'll get a pat-down instead. It takes a few minutes longer, but if it makes you feel safer or more comfortable, that's your right. Third, here's something most people don't know. Before the pat-down begins, you have the right to tell the officer where your sensitive areas are. If you have a painful hip, if your shoulder hurts, if you've got a recent surgical site that's tender, you can say so before they touch you. "I have a painful left hip. Please be gentle on that side. I recently had surgery on my shoulder. That area is very sensitive." The officer is required to accommodate that information. They'll adjust their technique. They'll be more careful in those areas. You're not being difficult. You're protecting yourself from unnecessary pain. Speak up before the screening starts, and you'll have a much better experience. Here's another thing about medical devices that seniors carry: insulin pumps, glucose monitors, oxygen concentrators, portable nebulizers. All of these are allowed through security, and TSA has specific protocols for screening them. You do not have to disconnect your insulin pump to go through security. You can tell the officer, "I'm wearing an insulin pump. I'd prefer not to go through the body scanner." They'll give you a pat-down and they'll swab your hands to test for explosive residue, but your pump stays attached to your body. If you're carrying a portable oxygen concentrator, it does not count toward your carry-on limit, and you can keep it with you through screening. Just let the officer know, "I have a portable oxygen concentrator." They'll inspect it separately, but you'll keep it with you. Now let's talk about dignity, because this is where a lot of seniors feel the most vulnerable. The scenario that terrifies people is being selected for additional screening or a pat-down and having it happen right there in the middle of the checkpoint with dozens of people watching. Maybe you're selected randomly. Maybe the scanner alarmed. Maybe there was something in your bag that needs to be checked. Whatever the reason, you're about to be touched by a stranger, and it's going to happen in public. Here's what you need to know. You never ever have to have this done in front of other passengers. You have the absolute right to request a private screening, and TSA must provide it. If a TSA officer tells you that you've been selected for additional screening or a pat-down, before anything happens, you say, "I'd like to request a private screening, please." That's it. No explanation needed. No justification required. You just request it. They will take you to a private screening room, which is a small room away from the checkpoint with a door that closes. You will not be touched in public. You will not be searched in front of a crowd. You get privacy, and that privacy is your legal right. This applies to any additional screening, whether it's a full pat-down, a bag search, or anything else that requires extended interaction with an officer. If you want privacy, you get privacy. Here's the part that makes this even better. You have the right to have your travel companion present in that private room with you. If you're traveling with your spouse, your adult daughter, your son, your friend, whoever you're flying with, they can come into the room with you during the screening. You do not have to be alone in there with TSA officers. This is especially important for seniors who have cognitive issues, hearing loss, or who just feel more comfortable having a trusted person present. Before you go into the private room, you tell the officer, "I'd like my husband to be present during the screening," or wife or daughter or whomever. They'll allow it. The only exception is if your companion also needs to be screened, in which case they'll have to go through their own screening first and then join you. But in most cases, they can come right in with you. One more thing about private screenings: you have the right to request a screener of the same gender as you. If you're a woman and you're about to be patted down, you can request a female officer. If you're a man, you can request a male officer. This is standard policy. They're supposed to offer it automatically, but if they don't, you ask. "I'd like a female officer to conduct the screening, please." They'll get one. It might take a few extra minutes if they need to call someone over, but they will accommodate your request. Combine this with the private room and the companion present, and you've just transformed what could have been a humiliating public experience into something that's private, controlled, and as comfortable as possible given the circumstances. Now, let's talk about what happens when things go wrong. What do you do if a TSA agent is rude, dismissive, or outright denies one of these requests? Maybe you asked to keep your shoes on because you're 75, and the agent snapped at you and said, "I don't care how old you are, everyone takes off their shoes." Or maybe you asked for a private screening and the agent rolled their eyes and said, "We don't have time for that. Just stand over here." This is rare, but it happens. Agents are human. Some are undertrained, some are having a bad day. Some just don't know the policies as well as they should. Here's how you handle it. Do not argue. Do not raise your voice. Do not start quoting federal regulations in an aggressive tone that escalates the situation, and it's not going to get you what you need. Instead, you stay calm, you stay polite, and you ask for a supervisor. The exact phrase you use is this: "I understand you're doing your job, but I'd like to speak to a supervisor regarding my screening options." That's it. Calm, firm, respectful. You're not accusing the agent of anything. You're not saying they're wrong. You're just saying you'd like to speak to someone with more authority to clarify the situation. The TSA term for a supervisor is a Supervisory Transportation Security Officer, or STSO. You can ask for them by name if you want. "May I speak to an STSO, please?" In most cases, as soon as you ask for a supervisor, the original agent will either back down and accommodate your request, or they'll call the supervisor over and the supervisor will immediately correct the situation. Supervisors are much better trained on accommodation policies and passenger rights, and they don't want complaints escalating to headquarters. They'll make sure you get what you're entitled to. If for some reason the supervisor also denies your request, which is extremely rare, you ask for their name and badge number. You write it down or you make a note in your phone. Then, after your trip, you file a complaint with TSA through their website or by calling their helpline. You might also file a complaint with the Department of Homeland Security if it's a serious violation. But in the moment, your goal is to stay calm, document what happened, and get through security so you don't miss your flight. One more proactive thing you can do to make this entire process smoother: arrive at the airport early. I know you've heard this 1,000 times, but I'm saying it for a specific reason. When you're not rushed, when you have an extra 20 or 30 minutes of buffer time, you don't feel pressured. You can take your time explaining your needs to the TSA officer. You can wait for a supervisor if necessary. You can request a private screening without worrying that you're going to miss your boarding time. Stress makes everything harder. Arriving early removes that stress. You walk up to the checkpoint knowing you have time, and that confidence changes your entire demeanor. You're not apologizing, you're not rushing. You're calmly advocating for yourself because you have the time to do it right. Here are a few more quick tips that will make your life easier. First, even if you're 75 and you plan to keep your shoes on, wear slip-on shoes anyway. This gives you a backup plan. If for some reason the scanner alarms and you do have to remove them, you can slip them off and back on easily without fumbling with laces. Second, keep your medical device cards, your pacemaker card, your implant card, whatever you have, in an accessible pocket, not buried in your bag, not in your checked luggage, in your front pocket or in a small pouch that you can pull out immediately if an officer asks. Third, if you know you're going to need accommodations, consider calling the TSA Cares hotline 72 hours before your flight. The number is 855-787-2227. They can arrange for a passenger support specialist to meet you at the checkpoint and guide you through. This is especially helpful if you're traveling alone and you're nervous about advocating for yourself. Let me tell you what this all adds up to. Knowledge is power, and in the case of TSA, knowledge is dignity. When you know these rules, when you know your rights, when you have the exact phrases to say, you stop feeling like a burden. You stop feeling like you're at the mercy of whatever agent happens to be working that day. You walk up to that checkpoint with confidence because you know that the system is designed to accommodate you. You know that keeping your shoes on isn't a favor someone's doing for you. It's a policy that exists specifically for people your age. You know that requesting a private screening isn't making a fuss. It's exercising a right that's guaranteed by law. You're not asking for special treatment. You're asking for the treatment you're already entitled to. The airport doesn't work for TSA. It doesn't work for the airlines. It works for you. You're the passenger. You paid for your ticket. You have rights. And those rights don't disappear just because you're over 60 or because you have a medical condition or because you need a little extra time. This isn't about being difficult. This isn't about slowing down the line. This is about being treated with the respect and dignity that every traveler deserves, regardless of age. The agents who understand that are going to accommodate you without question. The agents who don't understand that are going to learn when you ask for a supervisor. Either way, you get what you need. Now, you've made it through security. You know how to keep your shoes on, how to protect your medical devices, and how to request privacy if you need it. That's a huge win. But here's the next challenge, and it's one that exhausts seniors even more than security. Getting from the security checkpoint to your gate. In a massive airport like Atlanta or Dallas or O'Hare, that could be a mile walk, literally a mile, through crowded terminals, up and down escalators, maybe a train ride between concourses, and then more walking to your specific gate. By the time you get there, you're sweating, your knees are aching, your back is killing you, and you haven't even boarded the plane yet. You're exhausted before your trip even starts. But there's a solution that most seniors don't know about, and it's completely free: wheelchair assistance. Now, before you say, "I don't need a wheelchair, I can walk," hear me out. This service isn't just for people who can't walk at all. It's for anyone who needs help getting through the airport. If you can walk but long distances are painful or exhausting, you qualify. If you can walk but you need to save your energy for your actual trip, you qualify. If you're recovering from surgery, or you have arthritis, or you just don't want to walk a mile through the terminal, you qualify. And here's the best part: it's free, it gets you to the front of the security line, and it gets you to your gate without the physical strain. I've made an entire video breaking down exactly how the wheelchair assistance process works, how to request it, what to expect, and all the insider details that make it smooth and stress-free. If you've ever felt exhausted just from getting to your gate, if you've ever thought about skipping a trip because the airport feels like too much, that video is going to change your mind. I'm putting the link on your screen right now. Click it and watch it next. Because once you know how security works and how to get through the terminal without exhausting yourself, flying becomes manageable again. It becomes something you can do confidently instead of something you dread. If this video helped you, if you learned something that's going to make your next trip easier, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'm here every week breaking down the parts of air travel that stress seniors out and giving you the real practical information you need to travel with dignity and confidence. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever used the 75+ rule to keep your shoes on? Have you requested a private screening? Or are you planning to use these tips on your next trip? I read every comment, and I love hearing your stories. Safe travels, and I'll see you at the gate.